Hey folks, today I'm in Ontario. I'm actually staying at the campground of Frontenac Outfitters. It's not too far from, I think it's Kingston, if you're gonna look at a map and try and figure out where this is. Not too far from the Thousand Islands region in New York. I'm actually only about an hour beyond the border. But one of the cool things about waking up in a tent is the audio track of all the birds and insects of wherever you are. And certainly it was nice to wake up here. The shop for Frontenac Outfitters is a short walk through the woods here, and some beautiful water here to fish is, you know, a short drag down the hill there. Before I do that, before I go fishing, we're gonna head over to the shop. I'm gonna teach Zach and his employees how to do the installation of a Torqeedo Ultralight 1103 3 horsepower electric outboard. We're gonna do that on a Jackson kayak Knarr. So the rest of this video will be a step-by-step how-to instructional video on how to do that installation to make a really nice pedal drive boat that also has the capability that comes with having a 3 horsepower electric outboard. But I will suggest to my American friends, grab your passport and leave your firearms at home. They were all about making sure of that at the border when I crossed last night. And head up here to Frontenac Outfitters. Really cool setup that Zach and his crew have here. All right, let's head over to the shop. All right, this is Zach, and we got a Jackson kayak Knarr here that we're gonna be setting up with the Torqeedo Ultralight there.
Pretty excited. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Before we get started, give me an overview of your business here and this region.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, this is Frontenac Outfitters. Thanks for coming out, Jeff. We're primarily a retail and rental shop, as well as sales and a retail and rental shop, as well as instruction for sea kayaking. Our focus is on giving high-end service to customers on some of the best brands in the industry. We carry Jackson, Wilderness Systems, Ziegel kayaks, H2O canoes, Scott canoes, NRS, and a bunch of other brands too.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to lay out everything that we need to do this one, and I'm going to have you be hands-on, and I'll walk you through it.
Yeah, right on.
I'm going to film it, so anyone that wants to do this install can watch this video of you rigging out this Knarr, can follow those steps and be able to replicate it.
Cool.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
All right, we're on the water. How does your leg length feel?
I could probably adjust it a little further out, but honestly, for now,
yeah. Now pinch them. Just slide them forward on that.
Forward a bit there.
Yep. Make yourself comfortable with it, man.
There we go.
All right, we're underway.
Okay.
I said we're underway.
Yeah.
I actually didn't calibrate that one for mile per hour, but you can read off some kilometer per hour. It's going to be the second one from the bottom.
Yeah.
The default setting is kilometer per hour.
Okay.
But give me a maximum. Just mash it. First thing we're going to do is get the top end speed. Zach's going to have it in kilometer per hour, and I'm going to try and match his speed. Right now I'm at 6.2, 6.3. I know empty I get 6.7, but I do have some gear in the back, and even a little bit of weight does make a difference. I got some of my fishing tackle and my depth finder and whatnot. 6.7 mile per hour. He's on a bit of a turn.
Yeah, I was doing about 10.7 kilometers per hour. So
Nice.
not bad.
All right. Well, get a feel for it, rip around in it, give me some, just rip some donuts, man. I want to see that maneuverability in the foot control steering, and then I'll get the speed and range data. I'll hop in it and test it. What do you think?
That's actually really surprising.
So, pretty maneuverable, almost what, 14-foot boat?
Almost 14-foot boat.
Yeah.
Really, it's wild.
So here's the overview, Zach. Basically, we're gonna be doing like you do a rudder install, where you put the tubing in the hull,
yeah.
Right? So we're gonna drill holes, and I gotta find. Actually, I don't have to find it. They made the right spot. So we're gonna drill a hole there, run the tube, and it's gonna come out the back here, and that tubing line is housing for the Spectra cord there.
For sure.
Stuff is way better.
Yeah, it's nice they've got it already notched out in here, eh? Like, kind of give you any idea. And
Yeah,
keep it all recessed in.
They had when they were developing this, I think I got on a FaceTime call with them. They're like, "You want it here, here, here?" Yeah, which is nice because Jackson's good like that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna next put the sliding foot pegs in there, but we'll take the foot peg out. But we're gonna put the track here, up here, so raised a little bit, okay? And to do that, we have the Attack 90-degree adapters, okay? So basically, there's some parts in there that we're not gonna use, but it is gonna sit there and allow that track to be right there.
Okay.
Right? And we got some Yak Attack tie-down eyelets for the motor lift cord and reverse lock. Obviously, I got my drill and the driver there, and drill bits, and can of WD-40. I'll get into that a little bit later. It's really just about having good electrical connection. Some people say, don't you want dielectric grease or some other sort of... I'm like, no. The service techs have told me again and again, WD-40 on these connector pins.
Yeah.
We'll get into that
keep
later.
The water out, right?
Yep. But we'll get into the motor later. But generally, you know, you get this bracket. Should be a fairly simple. Put it on there because we got the 4-bolt pattern right there. And you know, we'll take on the motor assembly that goes in that as we get to it. But let's start with the with running tubes.
All right, sounds good. Only has to be perfect, right?
It's just gonna be able to fit tubes through them. All right, so that length. This is actually part of the Innovative Sportsman foot control steering kit. We've already mushroomed out one end. Let's see if I can find it. This is the critical part, though, is that you have it flared out there like that. So, Zach, grab the other end.
Yeah.
And just start running it through. Sometimes I'll use this is just fencing wire, cattle fencing wire, to give it some rigidity. You may not need it.
Start at this end or the?
Yeah, you can start. I always start at the end that's more difficult to access.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's do the cattle wire. trick.
Okay.
Pull that back out.
Mm-hmm.
Grab the wire and just shove it in there.
In there?
Yep.
Yeah.
And just
How long? Most of it? Yeah.
A lot of it. And basically the rigidity of that wire, and what do you have up here in Canada? Do you have TSC or the equivalent?
Yeah, there was. I think it's called Ready Mart now or something like that, but that's your Tractor Supply store.
That'll work. So basically you're gonna run that through there and try to get the curved part of it to point, into the outside of the hull, because that's going to guide it back here so that I can reach in here and grab it. It sounds like you're doing great. I can hear it coming. Flop down. Okay. Yeah, it flopped down, but we're good. All right, give me a little bit more. So that came out there, and I'm gonna have you pull that. Actually, you're not gonna pull it out. You're gonna reach in and
feed it back through.
Yep, poke it back out. That's it, man. That's because they asked me where to put these little indents, and they have access to it, and we had the wire. That's one of the quickest running tubes I've seen.
That was easy.
Good job.
Other ones that have been nightmares for sure.
Right on. So this is one long length, and you'll get both sides of it out of there. But yeah, pull the.
Oh, we're gonna pull. Yeah, pull that whole tube through, right?
Because we have this side mushroomed already.
Cap on there.
Trey gives you a lot. Again, it's the Innovative Sportsman Foot Control Steering Kit. It's innovativesportsman.com. Real generic. It can fit all sorts of different models of kayaks. I've used it to do inflatables and all sorts of other brands. If you are doing other brands, for sure check out the Torqeedo Ultralight install playlist on the Little Stuff YouTube channel. It's all there. Looks good, you're there. All right, so at this end, I'm gonna have you grab a pair of those channel lock or vice lock, yeah, needle nose. Yep. Grab the lighter, grab the scissors, and I gotta find a screw. We're gonna
lots of screws if you need one.
Yeah.
These ones here are a little too big.
Yeah, those are flat. I need a pointy one.
Okay.
We'll find that in a second, but let's walk back here. Basically, you're gonna stretch. You're gonna trip over the wire a few times, and then we're gonna stretch this out. So pull on this. And then, yep, grab that, and I'm gonna get our screw before we proceed.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna test this just to make sure this is not gonna you don't wanna bump that and have it retract up in there, because that's where things can get difficult. But I'm giving myself enough to work with here that when I cut this, I got my screw ready. Once it's softened up with the lighter and the heat, I'm gonna do that to kind of flare it out. But let me soften it up first.
So breezy today.
Yeah. I actually got one of those torches for doing the plastic welding. If this isn't staying lit, I may go grab that.
We'll edit this to make it look really easy.
Oh no, we show mistakes, man. We show Jeff burning his thumbnail. Okay, that's a start. crispy epithelial cells on the tip of my thumb. I'm losing the...
You want a little cardboard to make a windscreen?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually.
You got lots of cardboard. There you go. You're cooking.
So the screw is also useful if it does retreat back in there and you get it right to the edge. You can reach down in there and twist it to pull it back through if you lose it. But I think I got it.
That's pretty good.
I think that one shot hitting it pretty directly. You want to make sure that it's cooled before you release this, and I think we're there. And it just draws back in because we did stretch it. So Zach, you can do the other side.
Right through there.
So Zach's gonna mushroom this end using, and let the camera see what we got here. It's just a pair of like wire cutters that have a little hole in there, and basically we're gonna heat up this side. We kind of pre-did this one, just mashing that out there. This is one of the tricks that Trey from Innovative Sportsman taught me to get that done ahead of time.
There we go.
So I got the underside pretty good right away. So it was the top part. Yeah, you're twisting it. That's smart. And really what this technique does is it keeps, because you got the wire filling the middle, it keeps the plastic from smushing into the hole and blocking the hole where you're going to run your spectra cord. If it does get blocked up, you can just take a smaller drill bit and just...
Do you think a little more? Maybe just on the side here.
Bit. I think you're pretty close there. Yep, that's it. That mushroomed it out. And that just makes for less work when we do this on the front side in what is sort of a tight little area to work.
All right, here we go, round two.
I heard it turn.
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes. One thing you want to make sure though,
Doesn't get hung up.
well, here's be careful.
Yeah.
You don't want it to go on like the inside of the scupper,
For sure.
because what's critical with this is that your steering lines and your tubes stay straight.
Yeah.
Straight lines steer smoothly. So I don't know if it went this side, but we're gonna be able to tell when I can grab it. Nope, we stayed on the outside. We're good. That was a good thing to capture, to get that sound.
Yeah,
going.
for sure. You could kind of hear it. Boing. Yep. All right, so now we pull this. Or did we feed it through
just
here?
Back it up.
Yeah, feed it through there
run
first,
it up
right?
here. You're there. And then stretch it, cut it, heat it, flare it. Then we'll move on to getting the mounting bracket on. Before we get to the bracket, Zach's going to run the spectra cord, which is basically like 700-pound test braided fishing line. I talked with a guy that works at, I think he worked at Fins, which manufactures a lot of the, braid for a lot of different companies. He was at the booth at ICAST, and he said some of the coolest use of this stuff that he's seen is people that do spear fishing.
Yeah, right on.
So
yeah, this stuff is it's intense. You can feel how thin it is, but how thick
Yeah.
Like it's got that rigidity to it.
Yeah, that it just pushes through there.
Yeah.
For sure, it makes for smooth steering.
Just doesn't matter which way we start from, eh?
No. And we just like the tubing, we got plenty to work with.
Yeah.
And
We're not going to need a whole lot on this boat, that's for sure.
no, it's just not run real far. And you'll probably have an extra section if you do have somewhere in this. Let's lay this. Go ahead and lay that out on the seat, and we'll find the hardware for putting the mounting bracket on that 4-bolt pattern. And maybe dump out that little box.
There.
I'll know what I need. So
Short Allen keys.
yeah, let's get these going with some washers. Just get 4 of those.
Flat washers or locking wash? I guess they're just flat, eh?
They're just
all
flat. Yeah. We have some just plastic little screws here. These are just designed to take up space so that water doesn't pool in there. In these brass inserts. One thing that I like to do before we put stainless steel on brass is to get a little squirt of WD-40 in there.
Okay.
Because the brass and the stainless steel, if you combine it with salt water, eventually it's going to fuse.
Yeah.
I've had a couple boats.
You get that electrolysis happening, eh?
I don't know what it is, but a little bit of WD-40 means that you can pull this out without ripping that insert. I've done that on a couple boats.
I wasn't sure if the small washer or the bigger washer. The small one fits on there, but I don't know if that's for a different setup or not.
Yeah, no, let's go with the small ones.
Okay.
So pretty self-explanatory. Jackson obviously made this easy for us by putting those inserts in, and it's a good quality brand. They make sure that those inserts line up right. I have had other brands that they maybe pull the boat out of the mold too soon and it's a little floppy. And these inserts can drift. The way you fix that, if that ever happens, and I don't think it would happen on a Jackson, but is you take a drill bit that fits in there and you just kind of mill out the side that you need to grind away that material. But we got good alignment, so we should be good to go. It's 3/16.
There you go. Give her one last round here, make sure they're snug.
So we've pulled this, and the Germans have named this the rocker. When the Germans call something a rocker, the only thing I can think of is like the Scorpions and Michael Shankner and
Yeah.
Yup.
That looks good.
So let's get the motor in there.
Okay.
And we're going to use the motor we're going to put all these parts on here. The steering triangle in particular is going to go on that pipe like that. And then we're going to use the positioning of that to cut our spectra cord and put the carabiners on at the right length.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So pull that out, and we're going to get the pylon. So it comes with the profile on there just sort of loose.
Yep.
And one thing that we have to do is to seat this gasket on there the correct way.
Okay.
And we're going to have to slide this ring clamp up to do that. But make sure that gasket's on there the way it should be. Yep. And then we're going to bring the profile. This profile just gives you some efficiency in the water, and really what it does is it seals up the backside of the pipe as a pathway for air to not travel down. There's actually lower pressure. If it's moving this way, lower water pressure along the backside, that air can travel down that, get to the prop where it's doing its thing, and incorporate air into that, and create ventilation is really the word, but people say cavitation. So this airplane wing profile seals that off,
Right.
so that you can operate this shallower and shallower without incorporating air into that prop.
Neat. Okay.
But we want to push this down, and then I'm going to get you some tools. I forget which one of these Allen keys. It's going to be the metric size, but you're gonna tighten this ring clamp down so that that profile sits down there and it doesn't rattle around.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Zach's going to push down on it, and then I'm going to tighten on this side. The nut is actually 8mm. No, yeah, it is 8. And then this Allen key is a 4. The metric stuff. All right, we're down as much as we can get. We're compressing this gasket, and I'm coming in here. And I'm going to tell you, a little bit more than snug, and that should hold it. We're good. So at this point, where's our rocker? Where's our...
Over here.
Yep. So that's going to go on next. So we're going to take the plug, we're going to go up through the bottom, and you're going to continue to slide that down on there. Yep, that's good. And then we got some parts over here. I'm going to set this down. We have a couple different quick release items here. What's nice about having a quick release on, whether it's the steering triangle or this is a ring clamp that the motor lift bar will go in, whatever's immediately uphill of this sets your depth.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you're moving from, say you're fishing big water and you're rolling over some waves, you want that prop as deep as it can, because when you come over the crest of it and the back of the stern of the boat comes up and it's catching air, you don't want that. You want to get it deep. Whereas if you're fishing a really shallow fishery, you want to be able to bring that up. So I think you can do it different ways, but basically I think the way that it makes sense for us, you can see in that ring clamp, which the steering triangle is just a ring clamp with wings that connects your steering. But that ring clamp, we're going to put this motor lift bar in. And could you put this on last and have it as high as possible? The longer lever makes it easier to do. We're just going to set this aside. We're going to set the part that's immediately above there with the quick release, and it's going to go right in there.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, whatever's immediately above is what sets it.
Yeah. All right.
Sets the depth, and you can adjust it on the fly.
Yeah, we can swing. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Go that way,
We'll
but
get
it's
it.
gotta
Yeah, we'll
flip
get it.
around.
We'll get it right
Yeah.
when it's ready.
Okay.
There is a part in here called carbon assembly paste. So this stuff, it looks like a moist towelette, right? Doesn't it?
Fancy.
It's not. There's this
Black goop is what I'm picturing.
Yeah, you're close. It is goop. It is gooey. It's this gritty pink stuff.
Okay.
It's get that in your finger. Feel just a little bit of that. What's it feel like?
Yeah, like almost like a fine sandpaper.
Yeah, like rubbing compound.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're gonna put that on this pipe where this is gonna sit, so that when you tighten this quick release, that it really grabs it.
Okay.
Because you're gonna have enough force on this with where the spectra cord
Right.
that goes to these
that whole thing could slip.
these carabiners. You don't want it to slip. You want it to, you know, to absolutely be locked on there. And it takes some work to, you know, to get this as tight as it needs to be.
Sure.
So first we want to get it on there, and then we will tighten it and loosen it a couple times.
No matter if it goes upright or you want that,
it does.
that wing facing up, basically.
If it's like this,
Yeah.
and it slides forward, the wings are going to hit this part.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's the ring clamp part of it.
Yeah. You want that pointing down.
Down.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have this part in the middle here. It'll hit these, and that's your steering limiting pins.
Gotcha.
I'm hesitant to say what I'm going to say next.
That is hang on.
Steering
edge of our
limiting
seat.
pins. Do you want your steering to be limited?
No. I want 360 degrees.
Thanks for not forcing me to say what I'm not supposed to say for liability reasons. Anyhow, I'm tightening this. I'm opening this up all the way and tightening it all the way. And as I get close, and obviously it's going to be like this, you know, where this is facing forward. I will go through a series of tightening this and mashing down on that. That was too easy, way too easy, because it'll
slip.
It'll slip. Each successive tightening down, it gets it closer to where it needs to be. That's harder.
So it like kind of works it in.
It does.
Yeah, yeah, all right.
Yeah. And at some point I will grab a pair of vice grips and really get on that, on this knob here. Come on, Ben, get in close. I'll eventually get, I think I'll get vice grips on there.
Yeah.
And tighten that sucker really good.
Okay.
But before I do that, I'm gonna lift it up a little bit into the region that we put the carbon assembly paste. They use this stuff in bicycle industry on like the seat post.
Okay.
So it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same stuff. I worked with the engineers, the product engineers in Germany. I actually still have the prototype motor that I use that's like 3.5, 4 years old. But this was one of the solutions that I kept telling them, like, hey, I got pretty strong legs. I'm moving the steering triangle. What are we doing? They're like, you haven't tightened it off. I'm like, actually, that's another issue.
I broke it.
I broke your hardware. I'm like, all right, we'll get thicker hardware on there, and we actually ended with having. I just wiped that on my pants. We ended with this. Yeah, we ended with this quick release, and it's strong.
Now, is there like a guide or something to
So what I'm doing,
align all that so you know you're
Ben, give me that
in true with the
what I'm doing,
motor? Yeah.
I'm looking down along this flat part here,
yep.
and I'm lining it up with this either this flat part or really the, you know, I want it parallel with that.
That'll give you the
as you're
reference.
looking down.
Perfect.
So that flat parallel with that flat. Okay. By the way, this is Ben.
Hey, I'm Ben.
Ben, tell me what you do with Front Neck.
I create the social media, the emails, the videos, I film, photography, all the fun stuff.
Right, so I'm putting this camera in the right person's hands.
I hope so.
I think
Pressure's
so.
on now.
Yeah.
All right, so then we also we use this to set the depth too. Then is that correct?
You do.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because this just slides up and down, doesn't it?
Yep. And then I'm gonna do this one more time because that was too easy.
Okay.
And I'll do it later, but I'm gonna keep the filming, the videography of this going, we're gonna put this on there next. And here, you got some quick release hardware.
Yeah.
Put that in there.
Okay.
Then you can film him doing that. I'm gonna get a tool that I need.
So you're gonna let me take this one out on Lake Ontario, eh?
Yeah, maybe.
Ben's already scheming.
He's
got plans.
Yeah, he is.
I love it.
It'd be pretty sweet to land a muskie while trolling with the Torqeedo. Look pretty good on social media.
So, after I was here last time, I went to fish with Mike Baker up in Maine, and we trolled some for striped bass. I ended up catching them, several of them over 40 inches.
Oh, nice.
At night, we did a nighttime surf launch.
Oh, wow.
You know, it was fun. So yeah, you can catch some big fish using the Torqeedo to troll. So, all right, I've tightened it. I really put vice grips on this, and I'm mashing it. And then the vice grips, like once this is on, you're gonna have good strength. I know it's going to be tough when you find that shallow water fisher and you need to release this, but carry a pair of pliers. I don't want this to move.
Yeah.
Because this is a big boat, and a strong motor. Yeah, I didn't go anywhere. That gives you enough purchase, but this is not. So one of the concepts that I think is important to get across when we set up everything, and we'll go over it when we get down the water, this is a plastic part. You can absolutely leg press this in half.
Yeah.
You can. What happens first is that the motor actually lifts up out of the water. But sometimes I see it at every demo day. There's about 10% of the people that you put in one of these for the first time, they don't understand the concept of before you push with this foot peg, you have to release with this one.
Yeah.
They don't understand it. And they just say,
Jam on it.
yeah, they're like, it's stuck. What do I need to do? Push harder. and what happens is they don't feel this one, and I don't understand. If you're pushing this hard with this one and you feel something pushing back at the same, like that mental connection doesn't happen with 10% of the people. And what happens is they hold this one steady and they push that until this breaks. You can either figure that out ahead of time, or you can buy the metal steering triangle from Innovative Sportsman.
Yeah.
Your choice.
Yeah.
There's other reasons to have a metal steering triangle. I know people that do the kayak fishing, tournaments down in Texas and Louisiana with all those cypress trees, and the wind blows them into it, and the cypress knee hits this and breaks it off. I mean, there are other ways that it can break.
Yeah.
But the biggest one is people leg pressing it, or people actually trying to pull it apart to get this down on there
Okay.
initially. Yeah, you can wishbone it.
Yeah.
There's other ways to break it, but just
Be
use the
gentle.
grip paste.
Yeah.
I say be gentle, and here I am waiting on the
Just don't miss, right?
right. All right. So now that this is together, oh no, we're missing. You just put together the motor.
Yeah, got the
So this I want all the way on the silver part of it. Do not have it on this part of it.
Okay.
This part is part of the seal that makes it all waterproof.
beak up, I assume.
Yep. And it's gonna face forward.
With the motor.
Yep.
Okay.
And I may have to. We're good. All right. Now that it's you
Want
want
it
it as
flush?
high
Yeah.
as possible.
Okay.
Yep. And that's it.
Okay.
That's simple. You want it as high as possible because that gives you the longest lever when you pull on it,
Right.
which requires less force.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and seat this in the mounting bracket. So I loosen this up more than I really need it. And you're gonna kick this back and it will drop down in there, and then you can tighten it on there. Yep.
How tight should that be?
It doesn't have to be super tight.
Okay.
It is not gonna jump up out of there. The only way that it's coming out of there if it's too loose is if you flip the kayak.
Right.
Which I've done, and you know, it's still attached to the battery that's in here. I don't know. I mean, I've flipped them, and they don't get away from you really. So now that we have this in place to get the rough lengths, what we need to do is come back up to the front, and we're going to do the foot control steering. And I've done one part of it, and I have the parts here for you to use as a guide. So these parts, come over here, Ben. These parts come with the Innovative Sportsman Foot Control Steering Kit, this hardware set here, along with the 90-degree adapter. I already did one side, and the concept is that you need for, I'm gonna come at you this way, man, that track and the nut that's in there to not block this sliding foot peg in there, okay? If it comes out and into that area, and he actually has, look how squat that nut is.
Yeah.
It's not your standard quarter 20 nut.
No.
And it's a very specific carriage bolt that's there, a really specific length that isn't the size you have at the hardware store. So here, I'm gonna let you put together with, you can just match it, and you're putting that 90 degree on the other end, and that's going to end up on a track on one side.
Grab the wrong one. I need the carriage bolt for that, don't I? No washer or anything, eh? Just the nut goes right on there.
Yeah, it's
little locking.
It'll lock.
Oops.
Getting it put together. Show us the track part that so we have the right quarter 20 stainless to drop down through there, and then that's the little track nut that fits there on the other side. So, and that's going to go right in here, and that gives you some adjustability in terms of, Zach, we were talking about people with different leg length and how you make sure you have the adjustability of the seat and the track that's going on to move forward and back, but this is also some adjustability.
What if I wanted to mount this right to the side of the hull? Can we do that? Is that possible?
So you can, but the ergonomics of where it hits your feet is better a little bit higher.
Okay.
But it's all top loading. It's not like you're gonna be able to, it's not like you're eliminating all that space. You can put a lock and load base in between or whatever you need to. So we got that on there. And then you're just gonna slide this guy in there, and you have lots of adjustability in the leg length. If you look at it, it's actually 3 different ways you can adjust leg length. You can do this, you can pinch that, slide it forward, you can loosen these, slide it forward, or you can move the seat, because Jackson Kayak put the built in the adjustability, because everything is kind of laid out for the pedal drive, which is in a fixed location, but you will have the width in between, the pedals and this. It's close, but you have the room to switch back from one to the other.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and get the other side on there on this one, and then we will tie off the spectra cord and start getting those lengths cut correctly.
Let's take our tagline here and feed it in through the hole.
Yep.
And then we're gonna go around 1, 2.
But you have to coil in this direction.
Oh.
Go
Gotcha.
back
So
in the direction that you
start
were.
from the top and then
Yep.
underneath.
Doesn't
like
have to be
that?
underneath, just the whole thing. Nope.
Nope.
Get both of them.
We'll coil it around both sides.
Start it. I would start it close. Start it here
Yeah.
and just coil the whole thing.
Clearly, I wasn't paying attention to what you were talking about.
It's all right. Get both of them and wrap it around. So you're creating, let's call it 6 coils. You can do more. I don't know that I would do less.
Okay.
You can do 7 if you want.
Okay.
All right, and then you put that tag in through here. Move your hand so I can show the camera. The tag end is just going through this right there. Okay.
Through here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then you take it tag in and find the original loop.
And there.
Yep. And then just tighten it on up. And I'm going to give you pliers to tug on that. But you're going to cinch it. Yeah, cinch it down there. Yep. Yeah, give it a tug on both sides. There you go.
There we go.
Put some power on it. That's good. It's tough stuff. It'll handle it. Nice. All right. Now let's go to the back, and we can for sure trim that if
Yep.
you wanted to. And if you wanted to singe it real quick, but
Nothing's
I've been
torching today.
told that that this is sort of pointless because
It doesn't fray as much. What I
really
find,
doesn't.
what I find with Spectra though, is that the outer coil pulls back and the inner coil pops out.
Huh.
But it even if you torch it, it still happens. But I find it slows that process down.
Right. All right. Let's go to the back here, and we're gonna basically figure out easy.
Oh, you haven't tied the
Well,
rig?
we're just gonna do one side. So we're gonna attach it here in this kit with all the hardware.
Little mini carabiners.
Yeah, grab a carabiner.
Okay.
Yep. And here you go, Ben.
Yeah.
We're just gonna come back here. We have it centered on there. We want to make sure that it's even, and then this motor is pointed straight. And then we give ourselves enough to tie the knot.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead and cut it. And then give me a carabiner. And then you're going to do the other one. But basically, I'm making sure that I don't pull on that. And I stop just a little bit shy of there because there's going to be some stretch. I'm probably 1.5 centimeters shy of connecting, and that accounts for some of the, that'll allow some of the stretch. And I said 6 or 7. I'm probably going to end up doing more of them back here. It gives me a little bit of extra material so that if I did it too, if I didn't give myself enough to work with, I can retie that and give myself some extra length. I don't know how many I just did.
Quite a few.
Yeah, I mean it's
You're up to like 10 or 12.
you can't add length to the Spectra, but you can certainly always take away. And this one I probably don't even need to get both tag ends, but that comes through there. Yeah, I'm gonna call that good. It's the strength of it is in the coils, and that's attached. And that just, we clip onto the outer one, You can clip in the inner one with the 403 and it gives you more sensitive steering, but as you go further out it's more powerful.
Right.
You need all the power you can get with this motor because there's a lot of power in that motor. So you're going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to hold that foot peg in place.
I think it's important to say this part again because I might have missed that when I was on the other side. Just that should be in the middle.
Yep. So Zach's replicating what we did over there, and I'm just making sure that these are held in place, and make sure that it's,
So
you know,
you measured it about a centimeter off? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, so that the carabiner is a centimeter shy of reaching there,
Okay.
which is going to give you some tension, and as the Spectra kind of settles in, but draw it tight. I'm going to hold this in place. Just give me some side-to-side action,
got it.
showing the foot control steering. We got good rotation there. Go all the way, man. Yep. Good deal. We got steering. Now we need motor lift. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna come back here, put a carabiner there, and there's that gray, that gray line. You're gonna need that. Grab
This carabiner.
Yep, grab that carabiner. Run one end of that line just through right there. The other way.
Huh?
Come in this
Oh,
way.
sorry, yeah.
Yep. Tie knot, just a simple overhand knot. Fancy, man. I'm a figure 8.
You know, fancy. The one that's slipping.
Yep. It ain't gonna slip. All right. So that comes up to put your carabiner in there. Run it through there. Now it was good where you had it.
Okay.
Run it through there. Yep. Run it through here. And this sort of doubled over setup that we're doing here, and honestly, that's enough line to do both reverse lock and the motor lift. But give that a tug, and you can kind of understand that the concept of what you're doing here with having that doubled over. As it travels forward, we're gonna put some Yak Attack tie down eyelets here. We're gonna do one here too, as it travels forward, because you don't want it cut in the corner. When you put a Yak Attack Black Pack or whatever it is you put here, you don't want it cut in that corner and rubbing
This way, right?
Yep. So we have, we went through the Yak Attack tie down eyelet here. The line's gonna come up this way, and it's gonna loop around these parts where it's just the U-bolt, and this is gonna be the more forward part of it, and you have the screws and the track nuts that are part of the Torqeedo stuff. That was all part of that. And then you also have the Clam Cleat Junior. So that comes with it as well. We're gonna put the track and the right hardware to put that here. So the line's gonna come up, do a 180, come back, and then it'll go through there. And this is how we keep our, our reverse, or not reverse lock, the motor lift line up.
Notice the plate says top. And this guy is gonna face this way, right?
Yeah, because you're gonna be pulling towards you, almost like a bicep curl
Yeah.
towards you.
Yeah, because the other way, that would be awkward.
And then how
Trying
far?
to lift it like that.
Yep.
How far apart you want those? Because it doesn't really matter. We can always mess around with it. Eh?
Yep. Ben, what did we find?
Well, we're upgrading to a delta handle. So this is like a grab handle that you'd find on the front of a sea kayak. And that just will put the rope through there, tie some overhand knots, cinch or clamp that down, and then you have a nice, lot of leverage instead of having this little ball going in between your knuckles and trying to lift all that weight with just that.
Yeah.
That'll be nicer.
It'll be nicer than just grabbing balls.
Just perfect. We'll just slide this back a touch here. There we go. That looks good.
So we've done the same thing we did with the motor lift here to get that set up. We did to the other side, and this side was the reverse lock. Here's how the reverse lock works, and we did use the handle that comes with it. So as you're, you know, if you want to go in reverse, you want to engage the motor forward so it sits forward, and then you pull on this, and you hear that clicking back there? Something's happening back here. Let's take a look at what that is. Normally when you're moving forward and the motor hits a log or rock or something, it's going to kick up. But then come in close here, we're going to look here. When we pull on this cord, look right down in there, bring the camera right in there, you're going to see that that makes it so that when you put it in reverse, the motor can't jump up. And if it's doing that and the propeller is cutting in reverse, it's moving the boat backwards, right? So that is how the reverse lock works. We're going to get it on the water a little bit later and show what that looks like, but it was pretty basic. We put a few more of the Yak Attack tie down eyelets in a couple places, so what's left? We've been charging the battery. That was the first thing that we did, and we'll show you what that looks like in a bit. But we have to get a throttle on here, so let's keep moving. We'll grab the throttle, and we're going to use this is the Yak Attack Torqeedo throttle mount. So we'll open that up. It's a track mounted accessory that has the lock and load base. If you aren't using these for everything, man, you're missing out. It is Yak Attack's main way that you attach different accessories that you can put them on and take them off pretty quickly to the track. So we'll start with the lock and load base. We're going to place it here, and that's going to put the throttle somewhere right in this region here. But this is the base for it. We have to put the throttle on there first, but basically it goes out on there like that. But we're gonna bring it down a little bit, and it'll probably be about in this region here. Let's grab that throttle. We'll show you that going on, and then we're close to getting it on the water. So because we have electrical connections here with the data cable going in there, we're gonna preemptively get some of that the WD-40 right in there, right where those pins are. Those pins are gold plated to not have corrosion happening in there, but still having the WD-40 in there helps it a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing on the end that goes into the battery. It's important not to stick the tube down in there. You do not want to fold those pins. Those data pins are critical for communication. And you fold one over, you're replacing one of these data cables. So that's ready. I like to route it through this little part here. It kind of tucks underneath there, and from there I can slide it to where it needs to be. And this is probably the hardest data cable connection that you're gonna have, just because it's a narrow little spot. But I kind of wiggle that plug side to side, and just with one finger I'm turning that. Maybe I get two fingers in there, but it's going on there. And this is one that we won't mess with. You know, this is one that we're not going to touch more than just once right now. Once it's on, it's sealed up, good to go. We got to get this plate on there. So I'm going to just deconstruct this part of the Yak Attack Torqeedo throttle mount. And then I can get the hardware from there and just, you can see how the holes line up. This hole with that one, this hole with that one goes right on there. And we got these little guys that came with it, with the Yak Attack Torqeedo throttle mount. Yak Attack made it easy. They are the metric threads that you need that are in the bottom of this German piece of equipment. But they gave you a Phillips. If you lose these or you drop them, you can use the metric Allen bolt that comes with the Torqeedo hardware kit. So you do have some duplication there, but I'm using the Yak Attack stuff. No washer needed. They are the right length. If you go with too long of a bolt, we've had people do this. They take too long of a bolt, one that isn't designed for this. And the threads, I've had people run it all the way through and wonder why their controller isn't working. Yeah, like stop, it's on there, whatever. Use what comes with the Yak Attack Torqeedo throttle mount or the Torqeedo for the throttle, you'll be fine. Put that spring in. Put this carriage bolt here. Now, one thing that you can do with this throttle mount is you can get those longer length, I'm going to say dog bone, and that isn't it. They make this middle section longer, and if you like to stand up and fish, you can have this up here and get that longer length. I think I just stole one off of the Yak Attack Omega Pro rod holder and made it longer, but they make a longer section where you can stand up, reach down here, steer with your feet or reaching your hands down the foot control pedals and be able to control it. Because this is such a stable kayak, you're good to go upright and operate this. One last piece that's absolutely critical is the kill switch. This needs to be connected to your, you can do it to your belt buckle or to your life jacket, but it has to sit right here. If you were to fall out of the boat and this comes off, the motor will not operate. That's a good safety feature. So the battery we've had charging here, this is the charger that comes with it. Kind of looks like just a laptop charger. When it's blinking, it means that it's taking a charge. When it turns solid red, that means that the charge is done. So we're not quite topped off, but let's go ahead and pull it and use what power we have and get it out on the water and get our speed and range data. I'm excited to see what this Jackson Kayak Knarr tops out at. A lot of boats are in that mid 6 mile an hour. That'd be my guess that we're about 6.4. We'll see. So as you put these on, those 4 pins on the bottom line up with the 4 big holes there, and we kind of do a little bit of side to side, up and down to make sure that it's properly seated. The one test that I like to do is if it's threading on and you can do it with one finger, you are not cross-threading it. That's good. Because if you do cross-thread it, especially if you do it for the first time, they are plastic threads and you will score those plastic threads to always be cross-threading. So be careful the first time you do it. Make sure it goes on there straight and use that one finger test to see, yeah, is that going on? If it screws on nicely, then you have that good connection. If you don't, on the throttle here, you'll have an E30 error code, which means poor electrical connection. So the error codes that display on the throttle are a way of teaching you or letting you know if something is going wrong, and it gives you some level of specificity of here's a starting point for you to troubleshoot and get back on the water. With the manual, you do get those error codes. One thing I suggest, as soon as you find the error codes in there, get your phone out and take photographs of each of those error code pages in there. That way you're not out on the water where you don't have a good signal on the internet trying to look up error codes for Torqeedo. If they're on your phone, get a photograph of the error codes in the manual. You always have them with you. You don't have to, rely on an internet connection in some remote place. All right, so we have power. Let's come up and take a look at what the Torqeedo throttle teaches us. Because the Yak Attack Torqeedo throttle mount is fully adjustable, I can turn that towards you, but basically, and Ben, I want to make sure that you get in nice and close and you can read each of these. It shows that we have 69% of the battery remaining, or we got to charge up to 69%. This next one is your remaining range, and we're not really going to see that until we get it on the water and we start moving the boat, because we need some movement for the GPS unit that's in the battery to tell us our speed. This speed, and right now it's set at kilometers per hour, is a critical piece of data to calculate between, the watt draw, how much energy is coming out of the battery, how fast we're going, and what's the remaining battery percentage. This is really the most useful thing, your remaining range. So this, we'll see an example of it out on the water, will tell us if we're moving at, say, 8 kilometers per hour, that maybe with 69% of the battery remaining, that we have a remaining range of 4.3 kilometers. If you know that you had to go 5 kilometers, get back to your launch point, you just back off on that throttle so that remaining range goes right on 5 kilometers, because that's the remaining range you need. That makes it so you can get back, and not really use, not run short of energy, but not leave any unused energy and get back as quick as you can. Because sometimes we need to get out of the way of a storm coming in, or we just want to stay out there fishing as long as we possibly can.